Imagine a world where America and Russia, two nuclear superpowers, are on the brink of war, where NATO and the Warsaw Pact are facing off against each other in an escalating conflict that threatens to engulf the entire globe, where the fate of civilization hangs in the balance as the superpowers prepare for the unthinkable. What would this world look like? How would it affect the course of history? And what role would the rest of the world play in this global conflict? The roots of the conflict can be traced back to the end of the Cold War, when the Warsaw Pact, led by the Soviet Union, dissolved in 1991. With the fall of communism, the United States emerged as the sole superpower, but its dominance was short-lived. As Russia, under the leadership of Vladimir Putin, began to flex its military might and reassert its influence over Eastern Europe. Tensions escalated when Russia invaded Ukraine in 2014, annexing the Crimean Peninsula and backing separatists in the Donbass region. This act was seen as a direct challenge to NATO's influence in Eastern Europe, and it led to a new arms race as the superpowers prepared for a potential conflict. As the situation grew increasingly tense, NATO and the Warsaw Pact began to mobilize their forces. On one side, NATO, led by the United States, included countries like France, Britain, and Germany. On the other side, the Warsaw Pact, led by Russia, included countries like Belarus, Ukraine, and Kazakhstan. Each side was determined to protect their respective spheres of influence and prevent the other from gaining the upper hand. In this world, we see the rise of powerful alliances. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, led by the United States, includes countries like France, Britain, and Germany. These nations form a tight-knit alliance committed to collective defense and the promotion of democracy and human rights. Opposing them is the Warsaw Pact, led by Russia, which comprises countries like Belarus, Ukraine, and Kazakhstan. The Warsaw Pact nations are united by their shared history and culture and are fiercely protective of their independence and sovereignty. The conflict between these two alliances is not merely a territorial dispute. It's a clash of ideologies, a battle between democracy and communism, capitalism and socialism. The superpowers view each other with deep suspicion and hostility, each believing that the other poses a threat to their way of life. The stakes are incredibly high. The very future of civilization hangs in the balance as these two opposing forces vie for supremacy. As the world watches with bated breath, the superpowers prepare for the worst. They bolster their defenses, increase their military spending, and develop new weapons. The threat of nuclear war looms large, casting a long shadow over the entire globe. In this world, we see a global conflict that goes beyond the traditional battleground. It's a total war, where every nation is forced to choose a side. Smaller countries find themselves drawn into the conflict, caught between the might of the superpowers. The conflict has the potential to engulf the entire world, turning it into a battleground. And as the fighting intensifies, the world watches in horror as cities are destroyed. Economies are shattered and countless lives are lost. But amidst the chaos and destruction, we also see acts of bravery and heroism. Ordinary people find themselves transformed into unlikely heroes, rising to the challenge and making extraordinary sacrifices to protect their loved ones and their way of life. This conflict has far-reaching consequences that extend beyond the immediate battleground. It sparks a global economic crisis, disrupts trade routes, and leads to the collapse of international markets. The conflict also has a profound impact on the global political order, challenging the existing balance of power and leading to the emergence of new alliances and partnerships. As the world grapples with the fallout of this conflict, we're forced to confront the fragility of civilization. We see how easily it can be disrupted and the devastating consequences it can have for humanity. The conflict serves as a stark reminder of the importance of diplomacy, cooperation, and the pursuit of peace. In this world, we explore the darkest corners of human conflict. The devastating consequences of war and the struggle to preserve civilization in the face of unimaginable challenges. It's a world that's both terrifying and thought-provoking. A world that serves as a cautionary tale of what could happen if the superpowers were to go to war. So what do you think? How do you think this war will end? And what do you think will be the impact on the rest of the world? Let us know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any of our future videos. Thanks for watching!